So today we are going to be starting Unit 3. We're going to be talking about genetics. Now, genetics determine all of the traits that you have. So physical traits such as your eye color, your hair color, okay, your skin color, okay, whether or not you have dimples, whether or not you can curl your tongue. All these are physical traits that are controlled by your genes. So that's what we're going to be learning about. How you get the traits that make you who you are. Physically, both externally and internally. That's what makes up who you are. Now, your genes control those traits, but all of those genes are found in your DNA. And so we're going to start by learning a little bit about what DNA is. So, DNA is made up of nucleotides, okay? And these have three different parts, all right? The three different parts of the nucleotide are in this drawing here. You have a phosphate group, you have a sugar, and in this case that sugar is deoxyribose. That's where the D comes from. And then you have nitrogen bases, okay? So this is what makes a nucleotide, all right? And that DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. So deoxyribose, that's again the sugar, okay? So deoxyribonucleic, there's your N, acid, all right? And that's what DNA stands for. So these are the three parts. Now in those three parts, one of those parts is in that nucleotide is a nitrogen base. And there are four possible nitrogen bases. Those four bases are adenine, and we abbreviate that as a capital A, guanine, a capital G, cytosine, a capital C, and thymine, a capital T. All right, so A, G, C, T. Adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine. All right. And then these pair up to form basically a ladder out of the nucleotides. So you'll have one, basically kind of like a chain, and these nucleotides are sticking in the middle. And then you'll have another chain over here, and they have a set of nucleotides. And those nucleotides join up. That's what I mean by they pair up. Okay? So they pair up to form a ladder by linking in the middle. All right? Now that link, adenine always pairs with thymine, so A to T, and guanine always pairs with cytosine, so G to C. Just remember the word at, A-T, at, and that's how they pair up, and what's left over is G and C. So those are the two that pair up. So A to T, G to C in that link. Right. So it looks like this. So here's your three parts, your phosphate group, your sugar, and your nitrogen base. And you see it repeated, phosphate, sugar, nitrogen base, phosphate, sugar, nitrogen base. All right, and this is what we mean by them pairing up. And you can see the ladder here. The phosphates and the sugars make the legs of the ladder. All right, and then the nitrogen bases make the steps of the ladder. And this is how they pair up. A is always with T, G is always with C. All right, now in DNA, those nucleotides combine to form those two long chains, the legs of the ladder. And the two chains are then joined together between the bases, A to T, G to C. All right, and it results in a structure that looks like a twisted ladder. So when these form that ladder, they twist and spin around each other. All right? So the shape gives it the name helix. And because there are two strands, so the two legs of the ladder, we call it a double helix. And you will frequently hear DNA referred to as the double helix. A lot of times when folks are saying that, when they say the double helix, they are talking about DNA. All right? And so this is the twisted ladder. Right? So you can see how, again, the phosphates and the sugars form the legs with the nitrogen bases joining up in the middle. And so they twist like this. This kind of shows you the twist. And then a three-dimensional model of what this would look like, actually looking at the molecules themselves, you can see how it's spinning around each other. Right? And so that's how we make DNA, out of a phosphate group, a deoxyribose sugar, and a nitrogen base linking up to make a twisted ladder that we call a double helix. All right, now that nitrogen base sequence, all those letters, A, G, C, T, T, A, C, G, T, C, whatever, right? The sequence of those nucleotides is important in forming the genetic information of an organism. All right, so this is a picture of a chimpanzee. These letters behind him, this sequence, over and over, literally millions of them, say that his DNA belongs to a chimpanzee. Just this first line, A, G, C, T, T, A, C, C, G, T, A, A, T, 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 A, C, C, G, C, T, T, and it keeps going on and on and on and on. That sequence is giving his cells the information to make him a chip. So that sequence makes an organism everything that it is. That's the importance of DNA.